Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about the books that I read in both June and July. The first book I'm going to talk about is called Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. This book is a murder mystery book with a twist. This book is a book within a book. It's a mystery inside a mystery. And it's very different than anything I've read before. It's a new concept to me. So the book starts with Susie Ryland, who works as an editor at a publishing company. And she's reading the manuscript of a whodunit mystery written by their superstar author. And right after this first chapter, we dive into the second novel, and it feels like a step-by-step imitation of an Agatha Christie novel. All the elements of Agatha Christie are present in this book. The foreign detective, the setting of an English village, so many characters with so many things they're hiding, but suddenly this mystery is interrupted when the editor, Susan Ryland, discovers that the last few chapters of this book are missing, and here begins the bigger mystery and the bigger story revolving around this whodunit book. The book in general is very big. It's more than 500 pages long, but I didn't feel bored for 1 second. It was so interesting, so engaging. The writing is very beautiful. I listened to this as an audiobook and the narrators were really good. And to be honest, I didn't want this book to end. And the bigger mystery is even more interesting than the whodunit book inside the book. However, I didn't really like the ending of the book. I didn't like the big reveal. But I just discovered a new author, Anthony Horowitz. I'm sure that I'm gonna read more of his books going forward. It's a really good book. The second book I read is also an audiobook, and it was narrated by Tom Hanks. But even though Tom Hanks is a really great performer, I was really bored the entire time listening to this book. It's called The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. It's a really famous book. So many people praise it, but I just could not connect with it at all. The story is about two siblings who used to live in a house called the Dutch House, and they were kicked out of it by their stepmother when their father died. So throughout the book, they're reminiscing of their days in this house, and we go back and forth in time to see their backstories and the stories of the people around them. And this is about it. Nothing interesting happened. I felt like there was no plot in this book with so many unnecessary details. It bored me so much. Of course, there are many themes discussed in this book, like mental health, broken families, siblings relationship. So it's a family saga, and that's it. And I did not care the entire time. I might need to reread this book to appreciate it more, but that will be in the very distant future. Moving on to nonfiction books. I read two nonfiction books. The first one is called The History of the Ancient World, as the name suggests. And you might have guessed that this book is very big. It's a massive book. It's almost 1,000 pages long because it covers a very vast span of time, from the earliest accounts to the fall of Rome. And that's a lot of years. In fact, this book can be considered very fast-paced. It tells history in a brisk manner, in a very light way. It's not very complicated. You feel like you're reading a story, but instead of a fictional story, these events actually happened. And I enjoyed every minute of reading this book, and I wish it was longer. And luckily, this book is the first of a trilogy of books covering the history of the world. I'm definitely gonna read the next book in the series very soon. It also covers a wide geography. It doesn't only focus on the ancient world in Mesopotamia and Greece. It also covers some of the history of India and China, albeit in a lesser focus, because as the author says, not much of their histories is known, and there are so many sources for the history of Mesopotamia and Greece and the Roman Empire more than China and India. I don't know if this is true or not. I need to read more about the histories of China and India. The second nonfiction book I read is called Humble Pie: When Math Goes Wrong in the Real World. It's a really funny book, and it tells real mini stories about people who used math in a wrong way, and that led to disastrous consequences in some cases. The tone of the book is very light and it's very funny. It's not difficult to understand. It's very straightforward, although some stories were a little difficult. I could not understand everything in this book, but I enjoyed it from start to finish, and I really recommend it to people who love science books. And then for the rest of the time, I made a vlog. I covered reading Fourth Wing, Vicious, Piranesi, and A Poppy War. Please check out this vlog, the link is in my description box. I hope you'll like it and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching this far and happy reading.